Here we go. Rather than having to retitle the stream later, I'm just gonna have, like, a 19-second VOD. Just delete it. So it's like still on the in-game to-do list that I have to go through the YouTube exported VODs, double check the times. So like anything that's over about 40 minutes that has the word lunch break on it probably wasn't a lunch break stream. Gonna be about 36 minutes or so for that to finish. What do we want to do next? How's the power grid looking? It's a bit unstable. Okay, I'm gonna go inspect the coal gen facility because I want to see if it's a water issue or if it's a compact coal issue. I'm hoping it's just like a quirk of the compacted coal making its way through the 36 coal gens. Because if it is, like the thing I'll have to do to kind of accelerate the power levels getting stabilized is pick up some compact coal from the start of the manifold and go to the end of the manifold and fill it in. Because what's happening is the way like these 36 things work is like the first splitter I'll get half of the okay, let's just call it 270 because I don't want to pull up the big giant long decimal. So the first splitter will get half of the 270. And then the first coal gen will get half of the 270, and then that'll like fill in there. It's capped to Mach 2 belt speed, so we get 120, not 135. But let's just say for that. And then the next one will be getting a quarter, and then the next one will be getting an eighth, and then 16th, and then 32, and so on. So that would be 2 to the power of 36. It's so tight. Yeah. It takes a long time for like the last coal gen to fill up. Is the basic gist. See here, it's like, oh, this is one just creeped along. That's got 100, that's got nout, that's got nout. Why has that got 100? Okay, so like one's got 100 and like one's randomly like... I was looking at something and it had 17 in it. Is that one of the ones on the next line over? Yeah, like that one on the end has got nout in it. That's because I'm missing a belt. Okay, I need to go double check that all of these are belted in. So me belting that in is actually going to make the situation with the unstable power worse. there's an additional split to account for. Yep, here we go. Right, so these three at the end we've got now. So take 3 stacks out of the first 3 and slap them in here. There we go. Take coal out of the next 2. Start with the ones at the end. I mean, the other option is to load them with coal, not combat coal. It's like then the combat coal just back up on the input belt. This is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to getting marketable belting. Because then I can be, overclocking more stuff, increasing the capacity of this. I could be going back to overproducing combat coal and expand it later, rather than filling it out now. Hopefully that should leave the power grid a little bit more stable for the short term. So let's have a look. There we go. 3375. Nice. This is what happens when you try to read the internet while playing Satisfactory at the same time. Just like trying to jump into a hypertube while using my peripheral vision. Not a good idea. accidentally grabbed all of the crystal oscillators. That's good. Can put those in the hub for now. Okay, so we can be looking at doing more production-y things. So let's pick up some parts. Oh, we missed one at the end there. We've got 4 manifolds, we've got a 2, a 2, and a 5. What I think I want to do is get AI limiters span up. Oh wait, hang on a second. Got this to do, because I've left the holes in the thing. Oh no, wait, that's just set up completely later. Yes, it's not even, like, the manifolds aren't even finished. Like, I think one of these manifolds is meant to be, like, 16 manufacturers or something daft like that. There we go. So I want to get AI limiters automated so I can get me spark splitters doing more regularly. Yeah, crap, it's the top floor. Two, a 2, 5, and a 2. That's probably achievable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. single manifold because it's got inline. But I need 50 quick coin a minute. Mark 1 and Mark 1. Neither of the resources are getting shipped over, so let's get these pulled in just to make sure that they're on the correct level. I mean, the belts are the wrong way round the way I like to lay out the manifold, so that's the thing. I have to make a note to fix that on the next playthrough. One right on the end. cool. Here we are. Going in the wrong direction. What the fuck? Oh, I missed a bit. No traffic on the belt, so that implies shit's missing up here. Making sure that wasn't ironing it. That's meant to have copper sheets on the bottom and team ingots on top, so we'll need to keep an eye out for the same shenanigans we had with the other line. I was meant to be putting like these all the way along, and I think I'm just not. Well, at least the resource is coming out on the right side. You. What's going to be next? State is probably going to be one of the ones that's next, so let's get this sent over now. Swan. Like that involves like aluminium. What else is that? So yeah, I think that's be all that side of belting for a while. That'll come down somewhere around there-ish. Yep, nearly. I need to go pick up some Mark III belts. Got to put the coupons in the thing again. need like that many signs for a while. Okay. Lovely little rendering issues. This is creepy. Yeah, getting distracted. Right, AI limiters, things, belts, shit. We're also in the process of belting status supplies in. total factory floor output? Mark 2. Hello. Just getting the AI limiter manifold built. See, this doesn't even need to have two assemblers on that. Just do it with one. Ah, that can be done with one. I think it can be done with one. Like, one constructor does 60 quick wire, so if it needs more than that, then I'm kind of screwed. Yeah, I need it over 2. I don't know if I like did if I did that math ahead of time and I just forgot, or if that's just the whole default dual manifold mindset. G.5 divided by 2 divided by 5 times 100. There we go. It takes a while to get used to that like stuff. Like I've repeatedly unlocked nuclear power but never gotten around to actually deploying it. There we go. And the hotkeys are messed up again. Really annoys us when it does that. I can never figure out why it's doing it. This is off when it does, so I'm just going to have to restart. Okay. Actually, well, I'm going to go and pop to the kitchen a bit. Right back. Let's remember to take the BRB thing off. Had a habit in the past of leaving that on for an hour. Right, 20 minutes iron plates. Okay. The whole thing of asking how much is enough, wrong mindset. How much do you need? Like, I can tell you right now how much I need. For iron plates, because I planned way ahead. So all of the facilities I've got have got like the signage on the side of the building saying how much I need to produce. So you can see here, in total I need 357.22288 units a minute of iron plate. With only one machine's worth going to storage, but all of that going to reinforced iron plate. Let's try to get this fucking snack out of it. There we go. Like 3,800 plus hours. Yeah. Although the playthrough's only got about 183. Started playing shortly after the Steam release. I became aware of it like beforehand. I was waiting for the Steam release rather than buying it on Epic. Although at the time I was one of those weird people who just said like, "Ooh, Epic," and didn't get it on the launcher. It was one of those. Oh, I forgot about the thing about restarting the bloody hotkey. Let's say that again. And then restart the game. There we go. So yeah, I was playing other stuff beforehand. Just randomly out of nowhere, the Let's Game It Out Beltnado video came in the autoplay recommendation. Looked into it, shifted it, and then waited for the Steam release. So thankfully, I've always had to consider pipes. I've never had to like redo an entire factory for because of pre-pipe infrastructure being laid out. I've restarted often enough that I don't think I've ever had to redo a factory because of update changes. Alright, this game out is basically QA as entertainment, so it's like should definitely be allowed to play games because otherwise there's a whole like suite of bugs in games that wouldn't have been identified had like Josh not drawn attention to them. Well, it's not so much that, just because of how often I restart. Like, when the Fluids update came out, I was in the middle of a playthrough. And I came to a point where I needed to add, like, a new water packing factory. And I didn't want to have to build a whole bunch of refineries again. So I just, loaded up update, like the Fluids update on the experimental and put some packages down instead. And then update 6, like I planned ahead to accommodate some of the stuff in update 6 and like restart for it or anything. And then kind of the same with update 7. I've always had like other reasons for restarting than new features causing problems. It's more like, oh, there's a new feature I want to take advantage of, and it's going to be easier for us to do it if I start from scratch rather than like, oh, this factory's knackered, let's just start over. So those have gone to the warehouse, that's good. Hang on a second. Oh, not going to steal that before it leaves. Yep, there we go. And that one. One, two, three. Right needs to... Oh, overflow. Let's do that bullshit again where I've forgotten. Orient it in the right direction. Oh yeah, I've had not exactly the same stuff where I've found that I've needed to not as extreme as having like biomes be reset, so like I've had shit stuck in my factory because I build up in the air, so I'm not impacted by that shit. Like the only impact update 8 had on like my previous playthrough is some stuff got moved, so I would have placed these viaduct supports in slightly different locations. But because I don't use trucks and tractors anymore, there was no practical like side effect, like just not side effects. There was no practical downside to having update 8 and the biome changes. But what I have done is I've had to use skim to like move bits of my factory about because I've made mistakes. Like the most I've had to do is like one time I had a factory where it was spaced out by the number of train inputs I wanted. So I had the train placeholders all laid out. So there's like this main facility over here, there's the copper team facility was over here instead of, you know, over here where it is now. So everything was spaced out nicely until I realised one of the stations over this side were separated by 2 tiles, not 3. So I had to move over half a kilometre of factory 8 metres north. And I would not have wanted to do that if I didn't have the save editor available. I would have just started over again. Or rage quit, one of the two. There we go. $37.5 quickwire. So it's all Mark 1 belting again. Ran out of iron plate, lovely. Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, not even having, like, blueprints available, like had they been available, would have helped with. Because, like, the train station placeholders are, like, the train stations are 5 tiles wide, which doesn't even fit the entire, like, row. Okay, so, like, we have 4 tiles of space in front of the factory. And then you got 5 tiles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to accommodate the train station, so that the train tracks perfectly line up, fitting on their own tile. And then there's 3 tiles of separation between each train station, because that accommodates like all of the amount of belting that would need to like hop under the floor and then come back up again. And also having like space to walk around in. Well, I don't think it leads to, because the issue here is if this was 5x5, then that would be favouring like the weird people that play the 5x5 constraint. And if it was any bigger, then you like the possible complexity and mistakes kind of scale up. So it's one of those things where I think like the vanilla blueprint design is fine. People want bigger ones, I'll load up a mod. AI limiter so we can build the smart splitter that we're missing on the copper floor. Oh, me computer should be done by now. I should go like get that sorted while I'm down here. Like, there's a lot of me manifolds like that are quite repetitive, but if there are only like 2 machine manifolds, I'm not going to bother. But some of the manifolds are going to be like 16 machines long, and like if we've got inline production in them, like several machines wide. That stuff, I would want to be able to blueprint if I could. But it's one of those things where it doesn't happen all that often, so I kind of don't need to. One of the other things that became an annoyance is these factory floors are 10 segments high, and they can only fit 8 segments in the blueprint designer. So I can't blueprint like the entire corner. I can do the ones this size. I've got blueprints in for setting up new facilities. But I couldn't do that for these, where I had to like build, well, at least the corners mostly myself. Chunks of the wall can obviously be blueprinted, but then you have to lay out the extra 2 lines on top yourself.
Milestone reached. The fuel generator will match power generation to the increased consumption of recently acquired technologies and buildings. Additionally, improved conveyor belts and lifts can now be constructed. Caterium scanning unlocked.
There we go. Twitch chat just fell over. SSD can help a bit there, but like what the issue I find like playing on my previous PC is, once everything was loaded, it was fine. But I also don't explore as much as other people, so your mileage may vary with regards to getting a SSD. There we go. I can just leave all three of those things there. Alright, I can knock that off. There's a whole bunch of belting that needs upgrading to like Mark 4 or higher, so I'm going to leave that for another time. Oh yeah, RAM's definitely going to help there. Like, I think like every machine I've had over the last 15-20 years, I've ended up like doubling the total RAM. Like this machine's got 32. Like it's got capacity for like 64 or 128, I forget which. It's just like the previous computer, I didn't really have that many issues with only having 32, so I didn't see the need to like shell out for 64. So by the time I come to like need to upgrade this PC, assuming it doesn't explode like the last lot, like the RAM will either be a lot cheaper because it'll be like obsolete tech, or it'll not be available, which will make it kind of moot. Right, here we go. Mark 1 belt. An SSD might help for the drive that the swap file's on. Because if you only got 8 gigabytes, the system's going to be using your swap file a lot. But I don't know how comfortable you are doing system upgrades. So like you might just prefer to do it like a once and never again. Yeah, I don't miss having low RAM systems. Like, even my work computers like fairly chunky these days. what's next? Oh yeah, belting the thing in my head. Yeah, I remember that being a pain in the arse. Also not really pleasant when I was younger, like, you know, before I started working regularly, when my computer would break down. And I didn't, like, couldn't really afford to do replacements all that rapidly. Five divided by 5. Divided by 5. That's 100. There we go. 88.6. These days you need a pretty decent GPU for that as well, because of all the GPU acceleration you stick in editing software. Right, that needs more machines. Right. Okay, so the clocks. Yeah, okay. I'm on top of what I need to do here. So, one constructor does a maximum of 60 quickwire a minute, so I need, and that correlates directly to the amount of quickwire. So I need to bump this number up until it's below 60. So here we go. Need to do 8 machines, not 5. Yeah, I used to play on a 980 GTX or some bullshit like that, and I had to cap the FPS to 30 just so it wouldn't try to boil an egg every time I played. That's there, which means the margin tile is there. That wall segment goes to there. Oh no, it's fine. It's like, one of the reasons why I stream is it helps limit the length of my gameplay sessions. Because I used to just play for ridiculously long stretches of time. I don't like repeating words stuff in the same sentence. Ridiculously long periods at a time, and I found that if I stream and I have to talk about what I'm doing, when I get to the point where I can't coherently verbalize what the hell it is I'm doing, then that's when I need to stop playing. Because, like, after that point, if I'm not streaming, I can continue playing, because I only need to work inside my own head, and I can function on autopilot for quite a while. So it's fine. 10. And the margin. Yeah, it used to be when I like started streaming, it was just a matter of like being semi-social during lockdown. But like I did find it really helped limit my gameplay length. So like that's pretty much why I'm sticking with it now. Really nice is when like the placement picker just does bullshit like that. It's not even consistently inconsistent. Might be worth checking like product announcements as well, because if the stuff that you're gonna buy is gonna become obsolete, then it's gonna get cheaper. And then also if stuff's gonna like if the if the supply chain for the items gonna get disrupted, then it's gonna get more expensive. It's also kind of a balancing act between like holding off too long and buying shit too early. It's also if your country's subject to postal strikes, to not buy stuff to get delivered during a postal strike. Oh yeah, like that's another thing to be keeping an eye on. Here we go. Math time. 55.375 divided by 60 times 100. Alright, that's slightly more, so we're going to make it at 92.2917. There we go. Like, this is one of those things that I could probably blueprint. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this manifold layout could fit comfortably within a blueprint designer. Because I've only got 8 things to do, I would have had to like plan way ahead in order to realize, oh, I could blueprint this. Because, you know, I lay out one, and I think, don't need to blueprint that. And I lay out the second one, it's like, yeah, that's the same, it works out well. And then by the time I get to here, it's like, I might as well just keep going. It's not quite sunk cost fallacy, but it's a case of like it's not. Like I don't have the time to spend planning out what could be a blueprint in terms of me manifolding, because I don't have that much experience with blueprints that I can't think that far ahead yet. So I didn't use blueprints at all until update 8, just because I didn't really need them. There was an update 7 flash up game that I started that transferred over to update 8, and I experimented with some of the blueprint designs things. It's like, say, I then started thinking more about what kind of shit could I blueprint, because like viaducting pieces I could blueprint, but they're kind of cumbersome to be thinking that far ahead, like saying and also like how to lay them out in the first place, because what I found with some of the blueprint I experimented with, the way of placing them doesn't work. So yeah, like that's why these are all hand built. Like the signs are and the shells, like the corners of the shells of the buildings, work out really well for blueprints, but manifolds I'm not used to it. Frame skip. 1, 2, 3. Rotate that there. Oh, so it's run out of copper sheets, so let's just feed that in. So the production requirements for copper sheets and titanium ingots have all been planned out. It's just I didn't have the patience to lay out like full manifolds for all of the ingots, because those are kind of largely bottlenecked by not having Mark 5 building. So if I build these huge manifolds, I'm gonna have to come back. I want a second one because there's another manifold to do. I'm gonna have to come back later to like upgrade all the belting on them anyway. So it kind of feels a bit weird. So in order to bootstrap getting the main facility production up and running, I just stuck down like a basic row of like single smelters or constructors, etc. Over at the Ingot and Bauxite factory. Well, speaking of which, I should edit me stream info. Undersupplied main facility. There we go. Stream info's not going to come out on this stream, but it'll come out on the next stream. One of the things with computer upgrades, to get back onto that topic, is I used to build me computers myself, which worked fine up until the time where I bricked a computer just by trying to upgrade it, finding out that the GPU wouldn't fit in the motherboard. Well, it would fit on the motherboard, it wouldn't fit in the case properly. And putting the old GPU back in and finding that my computer wouldn't boot. It's also why I've oh, that's on the wrong fucking side, isn't it? It's also why I've never gotten around to doing a Assassin's Creed playthrough, because I'm kind of annoyed at Assassin's Creed Unity being at least partially responsible for my computer going kaboom. Because if Ubisoft weren't such wankers about how Assassin's Creed Unity was programmed, I wouldn't have needed to upgrade. So there's this issue with Assassin's Creed Unity where some stupid fucker thought it was a good idea to introduce, well, implement QuickTime events in a series that I don't think ever had them. Because people that add QuickTime events to genres that aren't really built around them are arseholes. And not only was like the introduction of the QuickTime events such like an obnoxious issue, some stupid fucker over at Ubisoft thought it was a good idea to tie the input response system to the GPU frame rate. So, if you have a QuickTime event in an outdoor location while it's raining, your frame rate's going to tank, and your QuickTime events aren't going to respond to user input. Now, some games that implement QuickTime events at least don't make them mandatory. Like, there'll be gameplay consequences for missing a QuickTime event. Like, one of the more like famous examples is like you're doing a chase through like a supermarket, and if you miss your QuickTime event, rather than jumping over something, you'll just like stumble into it, but the game will still continue. The problem with Assassin's Creed Unity's QuickTime events is if you fail a QuickTime event, the fight doesn't continue. It just loops around. So you can try a QuickTime event again, which you would think would be helpful, but no. Yeah. It is really shitty. So, at some point I'm going to be doing a playthrough of Assassin's Creed Unity. It's going to take a while because I have to get over my annoyance with it. So I'm not going to be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla until I've like done a fresh playthrough of the franchise. But before I even get to that, I've got to do a playthrough of Zelda, which I've been putting off. Like I think the VODs might have dropped off by now, but like a couple of months ago, I was trying to do an Assassin's Creed playthrough. Sorry, not Assassin's Creed playthrough. Zelda franchise playthrough for playing Tears of the Kingdom. Because there's some of the Wii era games I never actually got around to finishing. I think it was a Wii era? Yeah, Wii and Wii U era shit. Yeah. A lot of them. I don't have to finish them, but basically I never got around to finishing Skyward Sword. And there's a whole bunch of games that weren't released on the normal consoles that I've played. It's just the Zelda playthrough gets a little bit more complicated because there's the whole timeline split thing. So my current plan, my previous plan was to alternate streaming Satisfactory and Zelda, and then just got to the point where I'm getting like way too invested in what's going on in my Satisfactory game, and getting like a hell of a lot more out of it than I was getting out of the Zelda playthrough, which I'll get into in a bit. That I just decided to not do that anymore. And that needs to actually get raised up a bit. So my current plan is when I am like done with this playthrough, which should pretty much like by this point be whenever I'm ready to just like restart it, is to then switch over, like take a break from Satisfactory a bit and be streaming Zelda. Well, see, story in like video games is a bit of a funky thing, because like some of the games have got good gameplay and like cack story. Some of the games have got good story, but I forget which one I see. See, this is an indication that I think it's come off soon because I'm getting the words wrong. Some games have got good story and cack gameplay. Some games have got good gameplay and cack story, if they've got story at all. And the better games have both good gameplay and good story. Now, some games I just don't have any interest in playing, but have got interesting stories, so I would like watch people stream those, but I won't ever play them. But games that I haven't played yet that I intend to play myself, I don't watch people stream. Like I watched Jace like stream the character creator for Cyberpunk, but I didn't watch him play it because I intend to play Cyberpunk sometime after they finish developing it. And like that is a dig there where CD Projekt just decided to release an incomplete game. Where was I going with that? And then then there's games where I intend to maybe play it, and then I ask the person who I knew was streaming it what they thought of it when they were done. And it turns out games like Stray might have like interesting mechanics and story, but if it's got that limited opportunity for replayability, then I'll just not be interested in playing it. It's one of those things where like a game like Stray doesn't have good value for money for me. Like Satisfactory costs like 30 quid, and I've got over 3,000 hours, so by this point the value for money proposition is that Satisfactory costs less than 1 penny per hour of enjoyment I've gotten out of the game. But something like Stray, I think, has got 20 hours or less of gameplay. Let's see, what's the Steam price? So yeah, it's more than 20 quid, and if it's only got about 20 hours of gameplay, and you can only play it through once before you're done, if you're not doing like achievement like completionist playthroughs. That makes it more than £1 per hour value for money, so nope. anything that costs more than a cinema ticket's worth of value for money in terms of gameplay, I'll just will not buy. Yeah, I don't pirate games anymore. Actually, no, I never pirated games. Well, I was given questionably obtained games. I never pirated them myself. One of those topics that's a bit complicated for us, because in principle, just, you know, piracy bad. But also pop culture media as a means of moderating depression. Quite effective. Just call that 14 times 8, so that'll be Mark 2 on the copper sheet supply, which is the top lane. Well, like I say, the whole thing of my views on obtaining stuff that isn't obtainable otherwise, like, for treating like depression, it's effective. But then there's a point at which, like, I became like able to afford shit, so I will like deliberately, you know, buy stuff I don't necessarily need to. Because I watched it without paying for it at some point previously. Yeah, I never like had the compulsion to pirate games just because I had other stuff to do. Yeah, I don't want to really get into the subject of Italian politics because I think there's a bit of funny shit going on there at the moment. I can talk no end about the uselessness of British politics. What with all of the xenophobic, gullible shitheads that got us into the mess that we're currently in. One of the things that annoyed us about the whole concept of Brexit is, aside from like the general issue of the campaign was premised on a whole bunch of lies that was proven several times during the course of the campaign and in court after the campaign, some fucker decided it was a good idea to like enact like the article of this was Article 5, I think it was, without actually having a plan in place. Yeah, I mean, there is just like a general issue with politicians, but I'm talking specifically about the Conservative government in the UK being a bunch of xenophobic shitheads. Oh, A, racism, B, stupidity. C, greed. Funded. Greed built around the premise of being racist and or stupid. I can get more into the details of why people vote to leave the EU, but it does basically boil down to xenophobic fuckery and just being a gullible idiot. There's corruption, and then there's corruption that leads to people dying, which is what happened in the UK with all of the people that are in tight with the Conservative Party who got a bunch of contracts for PPE during COVID and then either didn't produce it or just generated shit quality product that wasn't fit for purpose. And there doesn't seem to have been that much in the way of consequences for that. You've actually got shiftless politicians in the Conservative Party who aren't doing their jobs properly because they're putting up a stink about not getting a peerage. Oh, the voting system. Before I started voting regularly, the only time I voted was when there was an election to change the voting system in the UK. Because there's a whole bunch of deficiencies that like CGP Grey goes over in like the voting systems videos, with first past the post being shit. And there was a whole bunch of like lies in the campaigns. Like, okay, clarification. There was people who campaigned against it who actively misled their constituents, and then there's people who talked around issues without actually lying. And where basically that measure failed. I forget what the exact voting system it was going to be switching to, but it was the one which made a hell of a lot more sense than the current one. It's also one of the contributors to why I have problems finding a better place to live than where I do currently, because I don't want to move to an area that votes for a party that fucks over the country, because that suggests that the neighbours I would have would hold views that I like, not even political views, just general beliefs and views that I would find repugnant. That number's not right, is it? Oh, right. It is right. Probably. Right. 31.125 divided by 2 divided by... Oh wait, it's not right. Hang on a second. Oh, how much AI limiter is it? It's 5, so yeah, it's wrong. I thought it was like 22.5 for some reason. That's like copper sheet or some shit. Divided by 5, so that's going to be at least 7. We divide that by 7, divide that by 5. Times 100. You nudge that to 8. Here we go. So if we put 8 machines on this manifold, then we get nice round numbers. I don't think politics is complex. I think the nuance is complex. Like, well, let's clarify. Let's rephrase that. I don't think running a country, I don't think running a country is complex, but politics and dealing with human nature is, because you know, what with people being generally arseholes. Right, that's actually going to need more because of the quick wire thing. 9, 10, 12. Right, there we go. I tend not to like people, because people in general can be quite selfish or self-sabotaging arseholes. It's one of the reasons why I like working remotely, so I don't have to deal with people in an office that I don't actually need to interact with in order to do my job, but I need to interact with in order to exist in, you know, an office space. 4. Yeah, I've had that conversation with a friend. It's like, you know, you want to be able to like run the country right, so the only way to do that is to become a benevolent dictator. Well, benevolent to, like, for a given value of benevolence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There, that means the margin tile's going to be there. Well, see, this is where I would make a distinction. Like, everybody has different views, but some people are racists and some people are idiots, and those people can fuck off. Six, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. There we go. Like, I used to know somebody who objected to the idea that people would legally migrate to the UK, work legal jobs, and then send money out of the country to support their families. So they would like meet every single legal requirement for existing in the UK, but they objected to the idea that they would send like money to people that didn't live in the UK. It was like, How is that not just a completely ignorant xenophobic viewpoint? Like, if somebody either earns or is legally entitled to money, and like they don't obtain it through fraudulent means, you know, unlike a whole bunch of politicians, what they do with the money ain't no fucking concern of yours, mate. There's a crate down there for when I dismantle the sign. We'll pick that up now. Yeah, that line of thinking is a bit problematic given that most of the people that make trouble in a given country are the people that already live there. Some of which are the politicians again. The last time I was looking into that kind of thing, the majority of migrants between countries tend not to cause trouble because they don't want to get kicked out. Like, if you migrate somewhere and you cause enough of a problem, you get sent back to the country that you came from. Whereas, like, if you're a citizen of the country, you cause enough problems, they send you to prison. And then eventually maybe you get out again. So there's like a whole scale, like a whole different scale of incentive to not cause problems. You know, that could also be observation bias, where, like, yeah, just because you're seeing a bunch of immigrants doing shady things doesn't mean that citizens aren't doing the same shit or worse. Or could be instigating or otherwise profiting from said shady activities. Let's top that stack up. Yeah, don't worry about it. English is a shit language. And I'm a native English speaker. I'm allowed to say that. Well, anyone's allowed to say that, but like, the point is this. English is shit. It has got so many inconsistencies and other bullshit in it that I'm surprised people bother to learn it at all. And oftentimes the only people who bother to learn it is an artifact of the UK being a whole bunch of colonial dicks. Actually built in that smart splitter I put in. I can't remember if I did. I didn't. I don't think I'm actually producing anything on the floor that this smart put this floor anyway, so it don't matter as much. Anyway, it's after midnight. My focus is getting a little bit off. So I think I'm going to get this AI limiter manifold sorted. Hop down to the warehouse for it, and then see what shit I can fix in these floors that I've done. Actually, I'm looking at the length of this manifold and it not being complete. I think I just want to not do it tonight. Let's see. 1, 2. Oh, yeah. This is one of the things I've discussed with people previously. Like, learning English as a second language can be a bit weird. Because ESL is one of those subjects where people tend to get trained on variants of the language that are more formal than they actually need to. So people get taught like forms of English that are actually contemporarily archaic. Divided by 60, 100, 86.4584. There we go. And then, the whole phonetics thing. Like, that's the kind of thing I'm getting at with English being an inconsistent mess. I'll not say this out loud, because I'll type it out if I can find it on Discord, it's a thing I post occasionally. Oh, Steam mode, let's turn that off. So I'll actually search for shit. Where is it? There we go. There's an example of one of the reasons why I think English is a shit language. Okay, that works there. This is the last manifold, maybe? Yes, it is, so I can put the walls in. Yay. Yeah, it's easy to understand, but pronouncing it is, like, weird. So it's like, English can be difficult to learn, but can be understand if thou give it tough, thorough thought throughout, though. It's like the whole thing of English and words that have got TH and UGH in at the end. It's no. There's a whole bunch of YouTube channels that like poke fun at languages for doing similar things. That's a different type of sentence. That's a sentence where it's literally the same word repeated throughout. Where, like, yeah, it's like it's correct, but people in people don't say words like that. like sentences like that in like normal English. And I would imagine that like all the different like grammatically correct in meanings of those words, some of them they wouldn't use. So it's like some like have just fallen into obsolescence. Like the kind of stuff I'm talking about here is where you've got like homophones and homonyms and all that like bullshit that just make sentences look really weird. I want to find the YouTube. I can't remember the actual YouTube videos. I can't remember the YouTuber. But let's just see if I can find person. Yeah. Loic Superville on YouTube. Pokes fun at some weird sentences in French every now and then. I don't have the videos on hand, but like if you pop on there, you'll see some of the weirdness in French. Yeah, like that's one of the reasons why I think like English is shit languages. There's that much like ambiguity in how words are spelt and pronounced, like similarly, that you need more context than just the sentence alone in order for something to make sense sometimes. Plus, the English propensity for puns. Like one of the reasons I dislike English is it just lends itself to so many puns. It's disappointing. Although I'm not sure you could even avoid puns even in constructed languages, because like, I'm sure if you took a constructed language that was constructed to deliberately avoid puns, that eventually someone would be able to formulate puns from it. I think the most difficult time I had in school with languages was German. Can't remember why though. It's like one of those things where my brain is good with written languages and not so good with spoken languages. And there was some reason why I was good. I think when I was actually in school and actively learning French, I could be vaguely conversational in French, but German is just nope. So this is going to have to get finished at some point, and I think I may as well just leave myself here to do it. Like this could easily be like a breakfast or a lunchtime stream thing. It's literally just like copy, paste, wash, rinse, repeat bullshit, then go plug it in. And I don't have the patience to do it right now. Yeah, these are all plugged in, aren't they? Yes. Yeah. So... Actually, that's the point. I should check on the status of the power grid. I should have plenty of coverage. Yeah. So all of the production I've been adding has been eating up some of that headroom I gave myself. The max consumption will drop once some of these manifolds get fired up, because some of these machines won't even have fired up yet because of the undersupply. So that's going to drop out, but also you can see that the stuff that I did earlier for trying to get the power plant to be more stable hasn't stuck. So I think I will... Yeah, I think... Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to pop over to the coal plant, fiddle around with it, then I'm going to come back here and save, and then, like, be done for the evening. Well, it's because I've got a compact coal plant producing 264 point whatever... That's the wrong tube. Units a minute of compact coal, which can produce enough for 36 and a bit coal gens. It's single manifolded with a like the Y split at the end, rather than like staking all the way around. It should be like a true single manifold. Also the wrong tube. See, this is the kind of thing I was on about earlier, where if I start having difficulty being verbally articulate about what I'm doing in the game, then I need to come off. But also, if I start making mistakes like that a lot, is it also another sign I need to come off? So yeah, single manifold with Y split in the middle. 36 coal gens being fed from a Mark 3 belt line. I could upgrade it to Mark 4, but it won't make any difference until I actually overclock the supply. So, with some very naive math that I was doing earlier, we've got like 270, and the first coal gen is getting half of it until it fills up, and then like the next one's getting a quarter, the next one's getting an eighth, and so on. And because there is 36 machines in the manifold, that means like the last machine per minute is getting that much, like that fraction. Assuming I'm doing my math correctly. Actually, the first one is getting half, second one's getting a quarter. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm not sure that number's right. I'm gonna put that into Google just to see what happens. Yeah, that's the same number. So it's one. Let's see. 168,719,476,736 of the 270 units a minute per minute. So we divide 270 by that, and we get a number so small that it just comes out as 0. So we put that into Google Calculator, and we end up with a number that's in scientific notation. So it's got like 9 leading zeros on it or something. Right. Let's see. So I think the water's good. there's no issues with water supply. Okay, so there's a regular amount of coal coming off here because of the Y split. And then it starts to taper out around about here. So the last time we inspected the coal gen, well, like not those ones, just these ones. There was some at the... Oh. Did I just see that one that had 17 again? I was looking for that earlier. Or was that a belt? I keep seeing a flash of the number 17 when I'm belting about stuff. Am I picking up numbers from downstairs? No, I'm not. So where's the 17 coming from? Oh, wait, there it was. Got 34 there. Yeah. So point being, there's a whole bunch of things that is just behind on shit. So, here's me terrible plan. This set of coal gens over here is on normal coal. That set of coal gens is on compact coal. I'm going to steal a bunch of normal coal. It was 5 stacks I needed last time. Let's have a look. One, 2, 3. Yeah, so I need 6. Here we go, we've got one that's not running. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I may have taken coal out of the wrong thing, because that is one of the coal generators that contributes to actually running the coal plant. Whoopsie. So there's 2 power grids here. One which supplies power to like the miners, water extractors and pumps, and then just the other power grid. So these 2 are on the coal plant power grid. These 3 are on the main grid. So I shouldn't have taken coal out of them. Anyway, we've got our 6 stacks of normal coal. Now I'm going to put over here and take out compact coal and swap it for normal coal. So now, what would have happened before is I would have taken the compact coal out, shoved it in another machine. The compact coal would have then been drained from the manifold as it filled these machines back in again. But what's going to happen now is these coal gens are going to continue producing, and the manifold's going to remain backed up and not get drained of compact coal. One of the other things I could do is I could actually dual manifold this. But that'll just move the problem around rather than solving it. So the idea is that by filling these in, that they should get backed up. So either that's going to be constantly at 100, or it's going to, like, you know, do it like it is here, where it backs up a little bit. Hopefully it'll get backed up all the way to the splitter eventually. And then it would, like, allow all of this shit to actually get that was at 32, now it's at 48. Now it's at 50, so it's like it's steadily increasing. So the idea being that eventually that'll hit 100. So that portion of the manifold will be stable. And then everything will fill into that one. And then that one, and then that one, and that one. And then, because that's on a Y split, they should resolve themselves at the same rate. Yeah, we've got that one. That one's at 50 odd, and that one's at 58, so a similar rate. Yeah, I was in the middle of a thought, so I didn't finish the thing I saw when he said the biomass burners. One of the fun things you want to try with biomass burners is challenge yourself to get a coal generator spun up using only one of the hub's biomass generators, because those only output 20 megawatts apiece, and assemblers require 50, and you need to automate space elevator parts in order to get coal generators. Excessive overclocking would be kind of cheating, but it is a doable thing. I just haven't done it in a while. But to answer your question, I'm not sure what my biggest joy would be, because impaired memory recall. But like for me, Satisfactory is like quite a meditative game. It's like it's something I can just have a plan, focus through, and achieve the plan. So it's like kind of, it's like a slow burn Skinner box, where like I do a thing and it feels nice to have done the thing. But I'm not sure how I would like really quantify it as like a joyful moment. But like it's nice, like trying to figure out a problem and figure out a solution and implement it. Just that the way I play, where like I'm on like version 20b of me building strategy, so I still haven't figured out like the way I want to play yet. It's taken us over 3,000 hours. Go saved. So, like, when I figure out a new solution to a problem, I don't get to necessarily implement it right away. So it's like I keep the ideas in the back of my mind, and then some of them I can incorporate into the current playthrough. Some of them I can't, and when I either get enough new ideas that I can't implement in the current game, current playthrough, or I just like have a big enough problem that I don't really want to solve, I'll restart and implement new shit. Best feature. Trying to think. The best feature that's benefited the way I play. I kind of want to say ceiling mounted conveyor poles, because that meant I didn't have a whole jungle of floor mounted poles and stackable poles just to get belts where I wanted them to be. That and signs. I guess like I used to do only planning in spreadsheets, and now I just do the planning in game with signs. Well, signs augmented by a notepad file. Like any other feature that's been introduced, I haven't really like played with as much. Like blueprint designers, I only started playing with an update 8. The new weapons, I didn't really play with until update 8 because I haven't even played with the new weapons. Like I think I played with nobelisks like a little bit when I used to play in grass fields, and then once or twice when I moved to Rocky Desert, which was in version 8. Gameplay strategy, not update. And I'm on like version 20b. So it wasn't until Fart Rocks became destructible that I bothered with nobelisks, really. I don't have much plan to deal with like the more specialized nobelisks. I tried rebar gun once, didn't like it, and it's going to be a while before I try that again. So like I won't be taking advantage of any of the updates. I think it was update 6 changes. Or maybe an update 5, I can't remember by this point. I've not really actively taken advantage of the Spire Coast changes, even. Just because I tend to pretty much stick to Rocky Desert. So aside from that, like the biggest feature that I take advantage of would be packages. Just because packaging fluids and shipping them about instead of using pumps is like a lot less of an annoyance with packages than it was with refineries. Just because the profile of the buildings is that much smaller. Anyway, my brain's starting to fall apart. There's a whole bunch of stuff I was meant to get done this evening that I haven't gotten around to doing it. Train changes? What train changes were announced? I don't remember train changes in Update 7. Unless that was the update where collisions got implemented. See, this is one of those things where I don't use beaches so much, so like a certain time after the updates come out, I start to forget which update and a feature was implemented in. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to pop off. because like I said, there's a whole bunch of other stuff I was meant to get done tonight that I didn't get around to because I don't have the patience or the focus for it this evening. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming tomorrow breakfast or lunchtime. I really need to get out of the habit of doing those sessions. Just if I wake up early enough, I don't want to be sitting around in bed. I'd rather be like at the computer ready for work. Because there's the thing of, if I'm sitting around in bed and I wake up early enough, I'm going to fall back asleep and then actually feel more tired by having like being 15 to 30 minutes into my sleep cycle by the time I have to wake up again. I've only got about the first 4 minutes of the community highlights video processed, and I really wanted to get 15 minutes of it done, and I'm just not in the right headspace for that today. So I'm going to be behind on that. So I want to get more of it, if not all of it, done tomorrow before I start streaming again. But it might just be a repeat of I'll get down to it and can't focus on it and I come on here just to let my brain decompress. I've got a vague idea of what I'm doing next stream. Finishing this manifold out and then going and upgrading a whole bunch of shit with smart splitters. So that's going to be all for now. Thanks for joining. Hope you get some good sleep yourself. And good night.